Alright, what is up YouTube? It's K-Rod here. I'm back with another good video for today. I'm going to talk about Miss Beautiful Rachel Ostovich defeating Paige Vanzant in a very close bare knuckle fighting boxing uh I guess like championship fight network fight. Uh let's talk about the bare knuckle fight between or bare knuckle boxing fight between Paige Vanzant and Miss Rachel Ostovich. This was a pretty good fight overall. I just wanted to cover it real quick to give like my quick thoughts on how I saw the fight. Very good fight. Rachel, she used a lot of great technical, footwork and a lot of good combination punches. She really gave Paige a lot of issues off the, off the front, double jab combo. I thought Paige was a little bit hesitant to use her, use her hand speed a lot more. She seemed to be very hesitant off of coming into the inside and trying to give Rachel some pressure, but it just seemed like from the camera angle viewpoint, especially from TV, that Rachel, she was like the more aggressive fighter, but she was a lot more calm and a lot more tentative with her, with her hard counters and her hard power punches, which actually got Paige rocked. I believed in the third or fourth round, so Rachel clipped her, and Rachel almost came close to knocking Paige out, but Paige, she definitely recovered quickly, and Rachel, she basically pressured Paige a lot on the inside. I could have, I could have thought Rachel was going to get hurt and probably get knocked out, but it seemed to be a more different fight once I saw it. Um, Rachel, she did her job and she got the victory. She won by unanimous decision against Paige Vanzant. Paige seemed to be a pretty pissed off after this fight. I don't know why. I guess, they actually had beef leading up to the fight. But no, Rachel, she did her thing. She got the victory, and much love and respect to Rachel Ostovich. I think Paige is not like the type of fighter that I could see be, like the best boxer in the world, but she's decent to say the least. She's obviously, using, I guess bare knuckle fighting maybe as just like an additive, career to try to give it a shot to see how well, it would go down. But I just think, like, honestly, like, Paige should probably stick to boxing more because she's more of a boxer puncher. But Rachel, she's more of a technical, brawler puncher. She's more of the type of fighter where she's a pressure fighter, and she's very brawler like, and she doesn't use a lot of technical outside movement with her footwork. She definitely knows how to move in the ring, but I think with her being out, being out the being away from MMA for 2.5 years and just getting into boxing and actually performing that well, even though it was like a 5 round 2 minute bare knuckle match, or a 2 minute 5 round bare knuckle fight. She actually did very well, and I give her a lot of credit for that. I think she did an amazing job. uh do I think Paige should still continue to do bare knuckle? I really don't care. Like, I think Paige, she definitely brings a crowd to come see her. So, I think, like, whatever helps, let the sport of boxing itself grow. Even though that this is bare knuckle, I think what's good from bare knuckle is that the best fights, let the best always fight the best. So you really can't be ducking and dodging nobody. Versus in the sport of boxing, that's a whole lot different. Men and women pick and choose their opponents. There's no proper matchmaking to be set in stone to say that if you want to make it to this title, you have to fight these guys, and you can't, you can't be ducking and dodging outside of it. And I think that's what the sport of boxing needs to do. It needs to be similar to like BKFC, or even, like the UFC, or at least the NBA, in a way where it's a centralized, marketized system where you have to fight these contemporaries if you want to get paid more and make it to that world title stage. Because I'm fine with multiple titles in boxing, but if we want to have like undisputed status on who is the best fighter ever, I think fight leagues would be the better market innovation tool to seek better fights all the time. And you really can't avoid that type of ducking or that type of competition as a fighter yourself, because nobody's not going to recognize you and nobody's going to take you seriously if you try to avoid a fighter, knowing that you guys fight on the same platform and there shouldn't be any reason for you to avoid the fighter in the first place. So I just think like it makes all the sense in the world for boxing to do that, because it's like in MMA you always see the best fight the best, and good enough that BKFC, they're obviously they're obviously doing a good job reviving bare knuckle boxing. For those of you that don't know, bare knuckle boxing has been around for quite a long time, ever since that the sport of boxing was invented, ever since I guess like when actual, ancient fighting, was created. It was originally bare knuckle boxing, but then when the sport of boxing, fast forward like a couple thousand years later, into the new world, especially in Western Europe and America, America basically commercialized, the sport of boxing more and franchised it more. But technically, Britain started to innovate the sport more. But as far as boxing as a sport, boxing has been around for quite a while, ever since ancient Egypt of, I think, 1500 BC. I'm not too sure, but basically, boxing has been around for quite a long time. But bare knuckle fighting is still boxing, but bare knuckle fighting is pretty much like one of the most popular sports to watch, because one, it's still boxing, and two, the best always fight the best. Because originally, bare knuckle fighting, when it got introduced to the Western world, it was a underground sport where guys just basically lace them up, with bare knuckle straps, or they just don't fight with any straps at all, and then boom, they just bang it out, and whoever wins wins. And yeah, especially back in the early and late 1700s and 1800s, that's when boxing, especially like the bare knuckle boxing underground shit, was like very popular, like in underground black markets and shit. And that's when the sport of boxing came into place later on, like throughout the years, because when people got I guess like when people got tired of like watching bare knuckle boxing, not as much, they wanted to see those same two fighters at a bigger stage. So that's why the sport of boxing was probably innovated more in the Western world, to create a bigger spotlight for those fighters, but in a more safer condition with the padded gloves and whatsoever. So that's what I like about bare knuckle fighting. Bare knuckle fighting is still boxing at the end of the day, but it's just like the more dangerous version of it without any gloves on, just with bare knuckle straps. But it's still good either way. I'm I love boxing altogether. The women put on a show. Rachel, she is a good boxer. I think she just needs to work more on ring IQ and learning how to cut people off in the ring. She let Paige, run away from her all fight long. But Rachel, she was hitting Paige with some mean shots, and good enough, she got the victory. So I think Rachel, she will definitely continue to do good, she'll definitely continue to do bigger and better things, and I can't wait for it. So much love and respect to Rachel. I think she did an amazing job, and as for Paige, sorry that you lost. I know that you will most likely win in the future. You know, especially how much hard work that she puts inside the gym. She is a good fighter. I don't take anything away from her. She definitely earned her stripes in the UFC, but MMA is not boxing, and I think Paige, she pretty much shows that she has a lot of holes in her game that she needs to work on, and I think eventually in the future, when she works on that, that'll definitely set the tone out of how good she is, because she's obviously still bringing in a good crowd to come see her, and I don't see how BKFC would kick her out to say, "Oh, she's not that good of a fighter," blah blah blah. No, she like she is a good, you know, she is a good average fighter. She's not the type of fighter that makes you think like, "Oh wow, can she compete with at the top, super featherweights or whoever in actual women's boxing," which would be good. And I think that's where women should be if they're trying to go away from MMA into boxing, if they're liking that type of sport. But, obviously it's not like that. It's obviously a measuring stick of what makes up the most money in combat sports. And I probably would say boxing makes a lot more money than MMA, but the problem with boxing is that the best aren't fighting the best consistently, but in MMA the best are always fighting the best. But the obviously the main issue is just making sure fighters get insured and paid off properly, so that way both fighters can walk back home, with a good paycheck, and they're financially covered, until it's all said and done. So that's how I see it. I think Rachel did an amazing job. I like to see her back. I like to see Paige back. I think BKFC said that Paige had a 3-fight deal, which this is her second out of third fight with BKFC. So I guess without the third fight, after this third fight, hopefully she could probably re-sign with them or try to, continue, somewhere different down the road. I really like to see Rachel and Paige in boxing. I think that's a lot better to see. But that's just me, though. I think this is good for the exposure of women's bare knuckle boxing. But as far as the sport of female boxing, I think if this was a female boxing match instead of a female bare knuckle match, a lot more exposure would be, spread for women's boxing, and I think that is what should be headed into the right direction. So I give nothing but love and respect to Paige Vanzant and Rachel for at least setting the tone for what women's boxing should be. But for women's bare knuckle boxing, this is awesome. Definitely more females are definitely going to look into that and try to seek more interest. But hopefully this can be influenced for the sport of women's boxing as well. So that's pretty much what I got to say. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys think Rachel did a decent job, or this fight was not supposed to go her way? Did you think Paige VanZant deserved to lose? Let me know inside the comments. I'd like to hear it. And that's about it. Alright, this is Kieran Rodriguez signing out, and I'm out. See y'all later. Bye.